Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chubanshi. Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay. Okay. So before we start today, uh, let us discuss something important and yeah. So I was wondering about if you have any idea about your exams. This is the first question. So all of you must be having an idea when your exams are going to start, right? Can I expect a
Yes,
communication?
sir.
Yeah. So anybody in the class, I came to know that there are still some students who are wondering about the exact time when the exams are going to start. So for them, the coming week is the last week when you can prepare for your exam. After that, it is going to start after 12th. Okay, so 12th is Saturday, I believe. So
11 Saturday, I think.
12th is Saturday, and from 14th, your exams are going to begin. So please start preparing for your exam. Second thing is that how many of you are unaware of your syllabus?
Syllabus of English.
Yes, EPP, of course. Anybody in the class?
Whatever,
Yeah,
whatever we have read till now is in our syllabus. Simple. And clauses are left.
yes, Subhanshi, but there are some, terms and conditions. So if you have attended all the classes, if you're following what is happening in the class, then there is no question, right? But there are some students who just keep their microphone silent, just enable their speakers, or there are some students even they don't enable their speakers also, they mute their speakers, right? So they don't have any, they don't have any point of understanding what is going to happen, and they just are there idle to show that they are there, and they can get the attendance. So for them, so please don't feel offended if I'm saying this, because this is truth. You all know that, right? So if somebody is there now, anybody who has heard all the lecture, and he or she, they can also ask if certain pertinent questions are there. Because I'm very disheartened in one of the class when I asked, it was not my class, although, but I asked them that, do you know your syllabus? Then some student said that, yes, sir, I know the syllabus. It is huge. It is huge like an elephant. So I don't know. I mean, such adjectives, such phrases, basically dishearten you if you have given your time, to make students learn. So in order to just give you a clarity on that, we started with error correction. In your class, I believe, Ashish,
Yes, sir. Ashish sir completed that.
yeah, so he has discussed that.
Then paragraph, jumbled paragraph.
Then we had jumble paragraph, right? And then we started phrase, clause, and clausal analysis sheet. Okay, so these three topics are there with your lecture, and there are some topics in your tutorial. So please ask your teacher the moment you meet your teacher. You can write to him simply. What are those things which we are going to discuss? Please clarify this in the coming week. Okay, the GD week is over now, right? So please ask your teachers that, so what are those things which are going to come? Please give clarity on that. Okay, since I'm not taking your tutorials anymore, so that's why I'm asking. Okay, now these two things are over. Yesterday, I have shared the answer key of jumbled paragraph and error correction sheet with you. Okay, I thought of sending it after some days, but since there's only 1 week, so you can practice now the error correction sheet and the jumbled paragraph, and you can match the answers which are given in the answer key. If you find any similarity, any dissimilarity with what has been discussed in your class, you can definitely raise that point in the coming week. Okay, so that is there. So your clarity on phrase, clause, and clausal analysis is only needed, and that is what we are going to discuss today. And whatever is left, we'll see. So we have 2 more classes after this class. Is it clear, everyone? Shubhanshi, Nidhi, Adarsh?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So one more thing I thought of discussing with you is, yeah, so next week I'll be taking your class, one of your class, where I will talk about the common errors which you do in subject verb agreement and tense. I'm preparing that lecture. So one lecture is that for that understanding. Okay? And one lecture is for your doubt clearing session, or whatever is left we can discuss that day. Okay? So let us start discussing phrase, clause, and clausal analysis APRM sheet, which I have shared with you already and which I have discussed so far. So Subhashi, can you please tell me, remind me what was that point which we have discussed so far, so that I can take the
So we
discussion?
were taking a recap of phrases, and I think phrases were completed. We have to start clauses. In our
Okay.
previous lecture, some students were in GLA and busy with their shifting of hostels.
Right,
So
right.
we haven't started clause.
Okay. I thank you for reminding me that. Now, before I start discussing clauses, I need some clarity from your end. What clarity is that if I ask you a question that what is that cue through which you can identify the types of phrase in a sentence or a clause, what will you reply? Suppose in your exam a question comes and you need to identify the types of phrase in a given clause or sentence. What will be
It,
that? Yeah.
I mean, like if it is prepositional phrase, then it will be start from preposition, and verbal phrase, then it will start from verb. So it was like that. I mean, phrases will start with that kind of word. That word will be preposition or verb or adverb.
Okay, Shubhanji, you are there, but you are saying it starts from something. So that is basically making your answer a bit busy. So what you wanted to say, let's have an example and let's try to clarify that. Okay, Shubhanji.
Okay,
So
sir.
suppose this is a particular example which we have discussed earlier in the noun phrase. Okay. So Shubhanji or anybody else can also participate. You're free to answer. You say. So this particular sentence carries phrases, right? We have discussed that already. So what are those phrases which are there in this sentence?
The girl in blue frock,
Mhm.
my sister.
So we have 2 phrases. What are the types of phrases here?
Noun phrases.
Okay. So how did you say it is a noun phrase? I mean, the girl in blue frock is a noun phrase. How it is a noun phrase, Subhanshi?
Sir, starting with noun,
Starting with noun, what do you mean to say that? What's your understanding? What are you trying to say? Starting with noun? Are we starting with a noun? We are starting with a modifier, right? What do you mean to say?
to be honest, I mean, it cannot be prepositional or adverbial or something like that. So left only noun.
See, you again, Shubhanshi, you lack clarity in this. You lack clarity. You know what is happening. Okay, one more question on this. It will give you some more clarity what I am trying to ask. Suppose if I ask Subhanshi that what is in blue frog, can you identify this? In blue frog, if I ask you what is this?
Blue frog is
What is in blue frog doing here? Others can also chip in. Please don't keep mum, okay? Yeah, Subhanshi.
the it is a property of that girl. I mean, in blue frog, she is in blue frog. Basically, this is explaining.
If I ask you to identify the type of phrase in blue frog, can you respond me with an answer?
Only in blue frog.
Yes. If I ask you to
It should be a
identify this.
prepositional phrase. It should be.
Okay. Can I drop this part, Subhanshi? Is there any problem if I drop this?
No.
Okay. So this is a prepositional phrase and it can be dropped. So ultimately we have understood that prepositional phrase work as an adverbial also, right, Shubhanshi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is happening here, Shubhanshi, to give you some clarity on this, what you are trying to say is we are deciding the type of phrase, the kind of phrase, the category of phrase on the basis of head. What is the head? Head
The
is
girl.
the girl, which is noun, right? And you are trying to modify the head with a pre-modifier and a post-modifier, right?
Okay.
Now we have
Basically, the
understood
next part
that,
of the phrase
yes,
decided the type of the phrase.
yes. So we have already discussed that a pre-modifier can be a determiner, a pre-modifier can be a noun, a pre-modifier can be other things as well. A post-modifier can be a prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, so on and so forth. We have seen a paragraph on this particular thing, right? So we have a pre-modifier and a post-modifier. And again here we have a pre-modifier with a head system. Right, Shubhanshi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now give me one more answer to this. Now can we take this adjacent sentence and can you please try to identify this? What is happening here in this sentence?
Many like light green color.
Yeah.
So the phrase is light green.
Okay.
And how can we say that it's the head part is green? I mean, maybe some people like light colors.
Yeah. That
Or
is the reason I have selected this sentence. Can anybody say something on this? If somebody has understood this well, if somebody wants to say something, see, this is bad. Only Subhanshi is carrying the baton of CSG section. This is bad. Others, Ronik, Nidhi, others, see, nobody cares what is happening. Well, this is what the impression I am getting. Diksha, Yuvraj, Ujjwal, Tushar, Nidhi has started sleeping in the class.
No, sir, I'm there.
So, do I need to send you an invitation to answer?
No, sir, actually, there's a function at my house. That's why
Everywhere there is a function, Nidhi. So, what to do? Tell me what is happening in sentence number 11. इतना समय लगेगा बताने में. So, Shubhanshi, so you have a doubt in this sentence. And what is happening here that again, since we are guessing or we are understanding the phrase, the type of phrase from the head of that sentence, right? So here what is happening that the sentence is many like light green color. Okay. Now this light green is modifying color. Color is a noun. right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this light green is basically a specific thing which is trying to modify color. Now, in particular, if we say that what is light doing for green? So with that sense, you can think of deciding the head which is green, which has been modified by light, which is an adjective. Okay? But since it is modifying color, which is the head of this particular sentence, see, there can be situations where head can be placed not in the beginning, but it can be there anywhere in the sentence. Now you have to understand what is the head. Now many like light green color. So basically the verb is concerned with the object, right? What is being liked by many? That's the concept basically. So color is head here, and that is being modified by an adjective phrase which is light green. So what is happening here? That the head is green here. Okay, and since it is modified by light, and both light green modifies color, light green is basically a compound type of construction, where this light green is modifying color. Okay, if we didn't had color as the head, then the case might be different. If we would have said many like light green, so I mean the head is missing basically. What light green you mean to say? So that's why that is not possible. Okay, so again the head is green because it is modifying. It is modified by light, which is a pre-modifier. That's an adjective, and that is the reason we are considering it as an adjectival phrase. This can be a very confusing term while you try to identify the adjective phrase or whatever phrase in your exam when such constructions happen, and that is deliberately given for that confusion. Did you get the point, Subhanshi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir means that you are not convinced.
Sir, actually, I would like to solve other examples also. Maybe, I mean, you explained this.
Okay.
That's why I
Let us take sentence number 12. Sentence number 12 says, he is very intelligent. What is the head here?
Intelligent, because it can't be and like he's very.
Right? So the head is intelligent, and intelligent is what? An adjective. Right? So it is modifying the subject, which is he.
Yes, sir.
Right? So the reason why we are calling it adjective phrase is that we have head as in head, adjective as in head, and we are having a pre-modifier to to specify what is being modified, and that is an adjective. So my overall point why I am discussing this is just to ensure that once you try to identify the head of a given phrase or a clause or a sentence, that head basically decides what is being highlighted in that sentence or a clause. So as you all know that phrases are the integral elements within the clauses, integral elements within the sentences. So phrases cannot be left, right? Although phrases cannot be considered in isolation as a full-fledged sentence, contextual sentence, but it can definitely be understood as a construction which is an integral part of that clause or a sentence. Is it okay, Subhanshi and others? Nidhi?
Okay, sir. Sir, in the sentence number 11, light is mentioned adjective.
Yeah.
It should not be adverb.
Why it should be? Why it should be?
Modifying green.
See,
Green
this
of
light. See this.
adjective.
See this light green is basically modifying the color, which is noun, right? And this light green is basically a type of compound word. Okay? light green. So this is basically coming together, which is being modified by, which is modifying color. Which color? Light green color. So that is the sense here. So either you say many like green color, many like light green color, many like dark green color. So basically that's the compound association of that word. Did you get that, Jovanji?
Yes, sir.
So that is why the confusion is. Okay. So I believe that in your exam, if such constructions come, you can definitely identify the types of phrases based on the structure, based on the function. So as we have seen that noun phrases have heads with pre-modifier and post-modifier. They can have. Okay, they can work as an adverbial as well. Now you can see, I bought another car last week. So this is also a noun phrase where we have head as a week. Okay. Now we have seen the structure of noun phrase. Prepositional phrases, we understood that PPs are like we have a preposition plus noun phrase. These PPs are basically functioning as an adverbial as well. So we can drop them off. We can add on, we can drop, right? They can work as a, yeah. They can work as a they can work as a post modifier. They can be itself working as a post modifier of another PP. This is what happening here. The girl by the table with carved legs is my sister. Okay, so this by the table is a post modifier of girl, and with carved legs is a post modifier of by the table. Okay.
Can you repeat what you said about sentence number 8?
Yeah, I said that the first PP, you can see over here, the first PP is acting as the post modifier of the NP, the girl. Okay, so the girl by the table is my sister. The girl by the table with carved legs is my sister. So these PPs are working as a adverbials, and these are the post modifiers of NP. Now you have by the table, which is working as an NP or which is working as a post modifier of NP, and the second PP, this PP with carved legs, is again working as a post modifier. It is most modifier written, but it is post modifier of the PP, which is by the table. Now see, the instances can be that you can say the girl is my sister. Okay. The girl by the table is my sister. Okay. The girl by the table with carved legs is my sister. So there can be number of instances where we can see, that adding up adverbials give us extra information, extra identity, what we are trying to add in the sentence. Okay. Now these post modifiers can be understood at the different, in the different ways. Here we can see in question number, point number 10, that I slipped quietly out of the back door. Now this prepositional phrase or adverbial is post modifying the adverb phrase which is quietly out. Okay, so in your exam, if such sentences comes to identify the types of phrases, be ready with your explanation, be ready with your understanding why we are trying to make it out, why we are trying to identify the phrases in these running sentences. Is that okay, Subhanshi and others?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now we have seen about adverb phrases, which are, which functions as an adverbial. So we can chop them off or we can keep it for extra information. And then we have verb phrases, and we have a number of instances where we can have one auxiliary, two auxiliary, or three auxiliaries with a main verb. So we can see such instances, so we can identify easily as a verb phrase. So for verb phrase, we are looking forward for the predicator, where we find verb which is denoting the action, okay, when it is happening. Now coming to the elements of clauses. So we already know that what's the difference between a phrase and a clause. Okay. So clauses are those elements which have full potential and they have the ability of expressing the subject and the predicate, the action. Okay. Now, if we say predicate, there are n number of things which can come under a predicate. We can have a verb, we can have objects, direct, indirect, we can have complements, we can have adverbials, we can have adjuncts, we can have a lot of things. Okay. So you can see here as an example, we have he slept. So this has full potential to be as a sentence. So we can call it a clause as well. So we say that clauses can also make a sentence. Okay. Now this particular sentence or clause can be added up with one more coordinating sentence or a clause. We can say that he slept and he started dreaming, daydreaming, something like that. So we are adding coordinating conjunctions for making it a coordinating clause. So that can also be a possibility. But this he slept has full potential to be as a sentence or a clause. Now in second example, we can see that many people are painting their house white these days. So we have subject, we have predicate, verb, right? We have object. So many people are painting what? So we have an object, we have complement, which is complementing what exactly we are trying to say, and the adverbial. So we can again drop them off and we can see whether it functions. Many people are painting their house white. Absolutely okay. No need to add these days. Since we are adding it, we are calling it an adverbial, extra information. So this is how you talk about the elements of a clause. So we have a subject, we can have predicator, object, complement, adverbial. Okay. Now subject and predicator is the minimum requirement which we have, which we already know that that's the minimum requirement of a sentence. And that is what we can see in sentence number 1. Okay. Now talking about the verb phrases. So we have seen that we already know that verb phrases include the verb, which are the essential informations, and that's the part of a predicate. So that's why it is written that verb phrases are predicators. And subject generally precedes predicator. Now in terms of understanding an active voice sentence in English, subject will always precede the verb. है ना? Ram kills Ravan, Ram eats mango, Ravi plays football. Always it will precede the verb. And then we have the object or we have whatever thing. If we don't have, if we have an intransitive verb, then we don't require the object as well. You all remember this, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have, but you know, the statement changes when we talk about the passive sentence, and that's the reason we are saying it subject generally precedes predicator. Okay. In Hindi also we have, in Hindi, you know, the things can work at a different way. Like Ram aam khata hai Ram aam, Ram khata hai, Ram aam khata hai, anything can happen, right? So this is like not independent to the subject. So Hindi has a different, you know, construction altogether. But English, active English sentence always have a subject. And there is always an agreement between subject and predicators. You all know about subject-verb agreement. If we have a singular subject, there has to be a singular verb, vice versa. Okay. And in terms of meaning, object is closely tied to predicator. Okay. So if we say Ram kills Ravan, then again object is, you know, there with the verb, and that basically comes under the predicate, you know, category. Now, in order to understand the direct object and indirect object, that's the essential element within the predicator after the verb, we can notice that indirect objects are optional and can be replaced by adverbials. This is very important to note here. Now, if we say that he gave me a book, this me is an indirect object. Okay? Please don't confuse with these nomenclatures. कहीं भी डाउट हुआ एग्जाम में, प्लीज डोंट राइट सच थिंग्स. क्लियरली लिखो पूरा. You all know what is an indirect object, what is a direct object, right?
Yes, sir.
Don't confuse yourself. I'm repeating it again and again. मुझे पता है एग्जाम में आप करोगे दर्द. Please don't write any nomenclatures. Please go with full-fledged forms. So indirect object optional होते हैं और इसको हम लोग adverbials के साथ change कर सकते हैं. जैसे he gave me a book. Now we remove me. Indirect object को हटा दिया हमने बोला he gave a book. ठीक है. अब he gave a book में अगर हमने adverbials लगा दिया इसके बाद, ठीक है, to give extra information, इसीलिए करते हैं adverbials का काम. So we say that he gave a book, that's the direct object, to me. That becomes the prepositional phrase and adverbials. So this is what happens when we deal with indirect object. So indirect object can be dropped off, and in place of indirect object, we can use prepositional phrase or an adverbial without any difficulty. ठीक है. उसके बाद हम लोग आते हैं कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स में. जब लिंकिंग वर्ब पढ़ा था हमने तो हमें कुछ आइडिया था कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स का. We used to say that when subject is complemented by something, then we have subject complement. When object can be complemented by something, then we can have object complement. So this can be understood over here. Okay. So you can see that subject complement characterizes the subject while object complement characterizes the direct object. So Rohan is a good student. So is working as a linking verb. It's a predicate, right? And it is complementing the subject, which is Rohan. Clean and clear. Okay? Now this will change when I use a different sentence and I say every teacher considers Rohan a good student. Now this a good student is complementing every teacher or Rohan. It is complementing what? Every teacher or Rohan?
Rohan.
Rohan, yes. So that's the reason we are calling it a object complement. The subject is basically not related with the complement here. The subject is just using a verb to identify a transitive verb to identify an object with its complement. That is the object complement. Okay, so this is how subject and object complement works in a sentence. Now, so we have discussed a lot, many number of times that how adverbials work in a sentence. ठीक है? तो इसमें कुछ और informations add कर लो. सबसे पहले it gives extra information. आपको पता है there is no fixed number of adverbials in a clause. कितने भी adverbials use कर सकते हैं. Added information, extra information. और they are mobile. Mobile का मतलब क्या है? कि कहीं भी इसको हम डिटैच कर सकते हैं, लगा सकते हैं, हटा सकते हैं, जोड़ सकते हैं. See these three examples over here. He rarely goes to the market nowadays. So we have rarely to the market and nowadays as adverbials. We drop all of them and we say he goes. That's okay, right? Now we say he rarely goes to the market nowadays. See the nowadays has changed his position. Now we say nowadays he rarely goes to the market, and then we say he goes to the market rarely nowadays. You can see how adverbials can change their position without creating any difference in the meaning of the sentence. So that's the speciality of an adverbial. Okay? Now, when we talk about the elements of clauses, हमने पढ़ा कि हमारे पास subject है, predicate है, object है, complement है और adverbial है, जो हमने यहाँ लिखा है initials में. ठीक है? So apart from these elements, we have conjunctions, interjections and vocatives also. ठीक है? तो conjunction और interjections तो आपको पता है अच्छे से, जैसे हमने यूज किया and then we did it. So we have conjunction, adverbial, subject, predicate and object. Interjections, oh, it is green tea again. So we have again an interjection here with the other elements of a clause. ठीक है? And the third thing, which is read the book Mohan. So Mohan is a vocative case marker here. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Vocative उसको बोलते हैं. जैसे we have the subject and we are using that subject not in the initial position. If we are trying to address Mohan, if we are trying to request Mohan, if we are trying to advise Mohan, we are using such instances where we say read the book Mohan. So this is a vocative case, and this is also a type of construction which we can have within a clause. So the point is that apart from the clean and clear subject which we usually have in our sentences, we are having a vocative case marker that is also a type of subject. And we have predicate, which we have the verb, and when we have the object, that is the direct object, the book. So these constructions are also possible when we talk about the construction of clauses. Okay. Here in point number 5, which says clause patterns in English, these are the structures, these are the constructions which we can find, and these constructions are basically possible when we try to understand the patterns of clause in English. So you can see that we have a subject and a predicate working over here. We have a subject, predicate, and direct object working here. So you can change the verb, any of these verbs in place of caught, and you can find the result. We can have subject, predicate, and indirect object over here. We can have subject, predicate, indirect object, and a direct object both here. She sold him the book. We can have subject, predicate, and complement. We can have subject, predicate, direct object, and complement. We can have subject, predicate, adverbial, like he is there. She thinks about it. And subject, predicate, direct object with an adverbial, where we say she tells him about it. So there can be number of cases where such elements can be present, and these can be the clause patterns in English. Okay. Now you can see over here it is written that with subject, predicate, and adverbial, and subject, predicate, object, and adverbial, different verbs require different obligatory adverbials. तो obligatory adverbials वो होते हैं जो required होते हैं, ठीक है? Like he is there. Now this adverbial is a required one. That's the mark of it, So if you drop this, this will be incorrect. Now you can say he is, so that becomes an incomplete sense. So you need to add an obligatory adverbial. So this is also a term which you should remember now. Okay. See, this is basically a bit advanced, but you can remember this. It's nothing like different. Now again is the case if I say he put it there. So this obligatory adverbial is important to be put over here in this construction. So this is taken from Leach, and this book is there with you, I believe. So you can find such constructions of clauses in English through this chart. You can go through this. Okay? And then we are remaining with the types of clauses where we start with coordinate and subordinate clause, and the types of subordinate clause which we can look once again. So in the next class, what we will do that we will try to understand the types of clauses quickly, and then we'll take some questions from your end if there is any. Or it will be better if you can just note down your questions based on the answer keys which has been shared to you. You can just write it to me on over WhatsApp. I'll start replying to you one by one. Okay. Maybe I'll take some time, but I'll definitely reply. So start preparing for your exams. Your answer keys are there with you. Match it with your answer. If there is any doubt, you can please, discuss with me. So we have 2 classes. Start preparing, and let's discuss if there is something to be discussed. Is it okay, Subhanshi?
Yes, sir.
So let's meet in the next class with further understanding on the types of clauses and the types of subordinated clauses. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Let's meet in the next class with further understanding. Have a day. Take care.
You too, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.